Hello, folks. My name is Ike of Ike and Tosh Photography in Motion, portrait and wedding photographers out of Seattle, Washington, and you are watching the Wedding Checklist.
Hi, welcome back to the Wedding Checklist. My name is Cynthia and I'm your host for today. And guess what, guys? I've got the amazing Corey Weaver in the studio today from Pickman Media. I'm so excited to let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about what you do. Go ahead, Corey.
I am a photographer, videographer, and I also own a videography studio here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right, so now that we got that out the way, Corey, thank you, appreciate it, okay? But let's just get right on into it. I want my guests to always come to us so they can get the real about what to do and not to do in this industry when they come to certain vendors, okay? So, Corey, we talking plain.
Okay, straightforward.
Just straightforward because we really want to educate our guests, okay? Or our viewers, or what you want to say. So, talk to us a little bit about what is the biggest thing that you want people to know when they come to you for video services or photography?
Okay, so I mean, are we talking plainly just plain wedding videography services?
Wedding videography services.
So I would say the main thing that people need to know is just like expectations with turnaround time.
Say it again.
Turnaround time. Only because I feel like people think that when you are hired by them that you're the only person in the world that they're working with at the time.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just kind of a headache. So just to stress turnaround time to the client, because the worst thing you can have is someone reaching out to you a week or two after the wedding saying, hey, when am I going to get my video?
Right.
When am I going to get my pictures?
Right.
I'm like, did you not read the contract that we had prior that you signed?
You never remember that part. They never do.
I feel like people don't even read contracts anymore.
No, they don't. They don't.
I feel like it's a lost art.
Right. So the thing to know is that what Corey is trying to say here is that basically you hired me as your videographer or your photographer, right? And you think that you're the only client that I have.
Right.
No,
right.
that's what it is. That's where it comes down to.
That's what people think. People think that after I do the wedding, the only thing that I'm working on is their particular wedding footage, and it's not the case. Like I may be behind 3 or 4 weddings that I'm still working on, you know, from the past that I hadn't finished yet. So I'm not automatically working on your wedding once I get it.
And the reason for that is because if you find a good videographer or a good photographer, they have multiple weddings, right? It's not like we're just sitting at home and we're waiting on your wedding to happen and then we're only focused on your wedding. Like we are constantly working week after week, and to edit video, edit photos, it takes time.
Right. And they booked you for a reason. Like they booked you because they like the work. They like the content that you put out. And another misconception is like, all right, so if I'm shooting your wedding for 8 hours that day, that is not the only time that I'm spending on the wedding. It's like I spent all day shooting your wedding, and now I'm going to spend days upon days editing the wedding. You know, and I don't think people quite understand that.
No, they think it just goes home, you plug it in and you just upload it to something and it's just ready to go. Like there's no like, I gotta go through the clips, I gotta sync stuff. What is the process?
They don't understand. So the process is, all right, so you shoot the wedding. That's the number one thing that you do. You shoot the wedding, you capture the audio of the wedding if they choose to select that service. Then you have to go home, upload all of this content to your computer or server, however you want to do it. Then you have to back up the wedding. So you want to back it up to another hard drive.
Which takes time.
Time.
It's not like something you just plug in and it just happens, right?
Right. Okay. So that takes time. And then after that, now you have to sort that footage.
Right.
So you have to sort it between the getting ready shots, the actual ceremony, the actual reception. If you have drone footage, you have to separate that. So that's a whole nother deal in itself. Then after you do that, now you have to be creative.
Wait, before you say that, mind you, at a wedding, it's more than one for a video or photographer. So you're matching up different cameras for different parts of the day. So it's not easy, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
got
not
to
easy at
literally
all.
look through all this footage to put it together.
So
it takes time.
so you're looking at, on average, you're looking at footage from 3 or 4 different cameras.
Right.
You know, and hours of footage. And then you have to chop that down into maybe 20, 25 minutes.
Right.
So how do you chop down 8 hours into 25 minutes? That's going to take some time.
Right. It takes time because you have to literally then turn on your creative juices, like you said, and try to put it together in a way that makes sense for them. Right? Okay, keep it going.
So, you know, where was I at? So
talking about sorting it out and then the next steps after
so
sorting
then
it out.
after you sort it out and you got everything how you want it, then you have to be creative.
Right.
And the creative process, I feel, is the hardest process because you have to immerse yourself into the wedding video. You have to, like, if there's a certain song that they want to be played, or if they want you to just do it by yourself and come up with the music or soundtrack for the wedding video, you have to immerse yourself in that, and it has to have feeling with it. So I'm not going to edit a video or shoot anything and not actually put that emotion into it, because I want the client to understand when they watch it, I want them to probably be in tears because like it's such a beautiful moment, beautiful day. So me personally, I feel like I have to put myself in the shoes of a bride or a groom. So that takes time. You know, that takes thought, that takes emotion. So you have to really sit down and take your time with it. So I say that to say it's going to take some time to get your footage back from me.
It takes time.
Or any photographer, videographer that's doing a service for you.
Right. So what I do notice is that, again, even when I have conversations with clients and I talk about let's talk about the video side.
Okay.
So when I talk to people about the video side, and I try to explain to them, like, it's about 4 to 6 months for you to get your video. It could be sooner, it could be a little after, right? But it's about 4 to 6 months. But the thing is that, like, so you start calling about 2 months in and you're like, oh my God, can I get the video? I want to show up for a housewarming, or I want to, have a whole reveal or whatever the case is. So then I say to a client, so would you rather me just stop at the point where I am, or not because I don't do the video, would you rather we stop at the point where we are and just hand you what we've done so far, because you really are at this point trying to take away from our creative process, right?
Right.
And now, mind you, during the consultation, I'm sure you tell them.
Absolutely. I was going to cut you off and ask you that. Okay, so what I do is I'll send a questionnaire to my client. The questionnaire is going to ask you pretty much everything that I need to know to shoot your wedding.
Right.
So it's going to ask you, do you want this session rushed? Or will you allow me to take the 3 to 6 month time frame to finish the video?
Okay.
And most clients select no. They say, we want you to take 3 to 6 months to do that. Right. So I just don't understand that. After
it goes out the window. I never said that. I don't even know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
After you click that, and then I submit the contract proposal to you that shows the date, and the date is I usually pick 6 months after your actual date, right?
Okay.
So the date that you'll receive services or receive the actual video, the last date that is going to show is the date that you select, 6 months after your wedding date.
Right.
And people still will hit you up the next week and say, hey, I want to show this at an event, or I want to do something special. Okay, but you didn't select the rush fee. There's a rush fee. Now, if you really want me to come home and start working on your wedding that exact same day, then there's a fee.
There's a cost.
Yeah, I can do it. It's going to kill me to do it.
Right.
It's going to take all of my time away from me.
And you have to push other people to the side to get that done.
To do that.
Right.
So now I have to push somebody else's wedding
to the side,
to the backside, to the back burner.
Right.
To do yours.
Right.
But that's going to cause friction.
There you go. So if I'm going to do that, then you got to pay to have that done.
Right.
But a lot of people have it on their contracts for a rush fee, but for that reason in itself, because it's going to then impede on something else that you have to do. Because again, you're not choosing me because I'm sitting at home never working. You're choosing me because you see the work that I'm putting down, and more than likely other people have me working, planners, whatever the case is. So therefore, keep in mind that it just takes time.
Absolutely.
And you have to just be patient. But I will always say to my clients in that meeting, you're going to forget this part. I always say it. I literally say it. You're going to forget it.
I like that. I need to incorporate that into my consultation because I already tell them, but I just need to let them know. And I think I probably need to send a follow-up email the day after.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we do video and photography. So I will send the pictures within 30 days, right? I always send the pictures, and then I will send an email saying now just your video is being worked on, but it's a reminder it's going to take 4 to 6. It doesn't matter. They will still 2 weeks, 3 weeks from after that. How's the video going?
Just touching base
with you.
Don't touch base. Don't touch the base at all.
We have not forgotten about you. We understand you are in the queue.
Right.
We have not forgotten about you, but it just takes time. And again, it would be great if people could truly be a part of that process so they can understand that the time is so important for a videographer. It's just so important because it's just, like you said, 8 hours of running footage.
Right.
Not 8 hours of still pictures. It's a total different thing. And I think that's where they get messed up because they see the pictures and they're like, okay, so the video should be right behind this.
The video should be right here.
It's the same thing, right?
You know, and then they compare, I guess sometimes they'll compare it to someone else's wedding, and that irks me. That like drives me crazy.
Right.
Don't compare the wedding that I shot for you to something that your friend did, you know, and they're like, oh well, my sister got her video back the second week. Well, you should have hired the videographer that your sister had.
There you go. There you
go.
You know, that's an important thing. My time and my creative pieces is not the same. It's not the same. All right, so let's go on to something else.
Okay.
Let's go into unrealistic expectations other than the turnaround time. Let's talk about visually the unrealistic expectations. How does that work out for you?
Okay, so when you ask that question, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, okay, for instance, I'll shoot a really, really nice wedding at a really, really nice venue. And then I may shoot, you know, said client at a venue that is not as nice, not as glamorous. And then you'll hear, you know, well, why didn't my wedding look
No, this is real. This is so real. Oh my God.
Why didn't my wedding footage look like the wedding that you posted on IG? I'm just like, you didn't have the vaulted ceilings with the chandelier sun coming through, or I mean,
the decor wasn't it.
Right.
The flowers weren't there.
Yeah, you didn't pay for that ambiance.
Look. Right. So, okay. Let's explain something to everybody.
Okay.
We're not magical. We don't produce magic.
Right.
Or am I saying that right?
But we do the best that we can in our setting. So, you know, let's not get it confused. Like whatever setting that we're in, we're going to shoot the best that we can.
But the thing is, this is a part of my consultation too.
Okay.
I tell people, let me see what you're looking at on Instagram because I know that's the way you expect your pictures to come back. Let me see it.
Right.
So when they send me these shots, I always say to them, so tell me, where are you getting dressed? And let's just say you're sending me shots from the Grand Bohemian or the Kimpton Hotel or something like that. You're sending me these big, beautiful windows, the curtains, all that good stuff. They're sending me this, like beautiful makeup tables. But then you tell me you're getting dressed at the
storage closet,
the daycare center at the church, or you're getting dressed at the Holiday Inn.
Right.
It's a total different thing. So you're not going to get that feel because that's not what you put into, like, you have to be mindful of what you're choosing. If you're looking at the Providence Cotton Mills venue, but yet you're getting married at Luray Mills, they're two different situations, right? So you can't expect for what we're doing here with that beautiful lighting, that beautiful background to look the same. It just won't do it. So people have to be mindful when they're choosing like getting dress locations and stuff like that. Create the scene. The scene has to
create the scene first without the photographer or videographer. Right. So I think that would probably be one of the main things that would help a potential wedding client is think about it before you actually do it. Just kind of look at it and be like, okay, I like this room. I want this room because it has a lot of natural light. I want to be shown in natural light, you know.
But the thing is, let's be very honest and clear.
Okay.
As an everyday client, you're not going to be thinking about that, which I understand that.
Right.
But that's why you have to talk to us.
Right.
You have to ask those questions. Like, listen, this is what I like. What do I need to do to get here? Planners help with that, and video and photographer. We are your visual people.
Right.
We're the people who are going to give you that visual back. So why not ask us? Like, if I'm trying to get here, beforehand, before you go and book the hotel,
Right.
Before you even maybe book a venue. I know you're not thinking about us, but maybe a planner can help you with that, right?
Right.
Ask the question, if this is the look I'm trying to go for, am I going to get that look here? And then we could help you along the way.
Yeah, and maybe just at one time I had a wedding client reach out and say, "All right, so Corey, this is what we're thinking about. Can you come with us to the venue?"
Why not?
And I'm like, "Sure, absolutely." So I've driven to different venues just to kind of check out the place to see what I would like to shoot prior to, and that kind of like helps you out a lot when it comes to videography, because you already can predetermine what looks you want to do.
Right, because if not, then we're gonna do the best. Like you said, we're gonna do the best we can with what we have, and that may not feel like the rest of the pictures you saw on Instagram, but that's not completely our fault, because again, like you said, if it's not there, it's just not there.
It's just not there, and you got to bring it too. If you know, you look at some wedding videos, and a lot of times you got the wedding clients, like the bride or groom, they're actually playing towards the camera. So if you want to play towards the camera, it's going to make for a better video.
There you go. It's a production.
Yeah, it's like act like we're on TV. Play towards the camera. Don't just sit there, you know, like a lump on a log and wait for instruction all the time.
Right.
You know, play towards the camera. Have fun with your wedding party.
So another good thing, I think, during an engagement session, let's just say you're in an engagement session. So this is another conversation I have with clients. I'm telling, like, I am going through now and I am showing you, look at this bride versus this bride. Notice that how most of the pictures you can tell she is turned on all the time.
Right.
But that's because she is purposely making the decision, like, I know the camera's right here, so I'm going to play to it. Right. But then you can see this bride who's just kind of in the moment. You have to decide, which bride are you?
Which one you want to be.
There you go. So that way everybody gets what they want, but be very mindful. If that's the look that you're going for, then you have to know that it's because she is purposely making sure to give it every day, right? Or not every day, but every time the camera is in her favor. Right. And that's not to say you got to stop and pose.
Right, no.
That's not it.
Absolutely.
But if this is your good side,
just be ready. Like, just know, all right, the camera's over here. Play towards the camera. Like, don't just look crazy. Like, you know the camera's right here. Look presentable, or, you know, try to make it look so that, all right, I know he's looking at me, so let me just play towards this. I have a makeup artist right here, so let me just pucker up a little bit more. Let me, you know, laugh a little bit more. But don't just sit there and wait for all instructions from the videographer the whole time, because then it's like, you know, you're taking too much time away from just actually trying to capture the moments.
And hopefully most of this stuff is handled during your engagement session, because that way you're teaching at the same time, right? You're teaching at the same time.
And that's good. That's good to actually do a session, the engagement session, or, you know, engagement videography session with the person that is going to do the wedding.
Right.
Because you already build that rapport with the person.
There you go.
So you already kind of know, you know, what to expect from that person, their demeanor, and how to just interact with them at the wedding, because they know you and they're going to feel a lot more comfortable with you if you do it that way.
Right. I think that that's a good trial run to any wedding, is an engagement session, engagement shoot video. And then they can also look back at their pictures or their video and say, oh, I like this. Oh, man, I had my mouth open. Oh, when I parted a little bit, when I looked at you this way, this all made sense for me. So, or I like this look on me. So that way they can know to turn it up even more for the wedding day, right? Because the wedding day is so boom, 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 that we don't have time to be like, okay, y'all, let's try this again. Let's run it back. It's like literally we're going and you got to get it right.
Right.
We've already had our practice run in the engagement session, so now it's time for you to turn all the way up.
Right.
All right.
And also, I want to say this: let the photographer or videographer know, like, what holds precedent for you. What is more important, the video or the photo? Because now you're fighting. Yeah, it's a fight between the photographer and the videographer all day, and it's kind of cool. It's like, because you size each other up once you meet. Once you walk in the door, you both look at each other, and it's like a duel. It's like like a Western. Like, you're just looking at each other. Like, all right.
No, let's stop. Let's take a pause on that real quick, because I want to say something about that. Because let me tell you something. Me and Corey have worked together, right? We've worked together.
Yeah, we worked pretty good.
We just did something together, and I said to myself, we were when the person was walking in, I said, "Ooh, we didn't decide who's gonna get the front, who's gonna get the back." And I remember us just kind of like whoever landed where they landed. It was like that's what
Just
it
let
was,
it play.
right? That's what it was. But we tried to at least still be at a good angle with each other. But some people are not like that. They're like, you know what? You bounce out, you get out of my way,
right?
And we could both be straight. Like,
I just don't want to fight with you the whole time.
No, you don't want to.
You know, if we can have a good cordial conversation about how we want to do this, then cool. But I don't want to be like, all right, you in all of my shots.
You in all my shots.
All my shots.
Like, back up.
Like, get out the way. And then your second shooter that, you know, that not your second shooter, but the second shooter that the photographer may have, you know, you got to have a conversation with them too. Because a lot of times those are just like freelance photographers that they just hired that day. Right. So you just want to get them out the way.
But see, that's another good thing to start talking to people about. Like, listen, if you were, let's say they come to you first for video, right? Right. Sometimes it's good to ask a video who he would recommend as a photographer because they will have probably worked together before, so they already have like some kind of rapport. Right. People don't really get that. If I get somebody from over here and I get somebody from over here, we may not work good together. Right. And then you go back to look at your video and the photographer is in every single shot for the video because they never wanted to say, let me play to the other camera and I'll stay out the way, or we'll both share the space. Right. So then you get your stuff back and you be like, dang.
I didn't get what I wanted.
Right.
So, but that's why I say, like, let us know, like, what is more pertinent? Like, do you want more clean videography footage, like close up? Because if that's the case, then the videographer is going to be in the way of a lot of the shots. Right. But as long as the bride or groom agree to that or okay with that, then cool. Nobody cares, right? But you know what I mean? It's just, do we ever really have that conversation? Right. And I don't think we do. I think we just wait till the day of and
people just push on
and see what happens. Right. So I think we just need to start focusing on that. Like, what do you care about most?
So what's a no-go for you when you, like, if you get a client, okay, and they call you and they're like, hey, I want you to do my whatever. What's a big no-no for you? Like, what's like?
I guess the first thing is just like when they just like automatically start asking me like all of the rates, all of the packages, and I'm just like, all right, I'll send you the packages so you can actually go through them. But they kind of want you to just kind of like verbally say it. And then a lot of times if you verbally say it, the number you say to them out of your mouth will scare them away quicker than actually looking at, you know, sitting down and thinking about it and looking over it. So I would just say, just like people just constantly like, oh, what's the price right now? Like, I'm like, I'll send you all I'll tell you like the starting rate, but I'm not going to sit there and go through all the packages right there before we even have a full consultation.
Right. And the reason for that is because you want to add value to what you have to offer.
Right.
Because I can tell you a number, but if you don't value what I have to offer, then that number to you doesn't make sense.
Doesn't mean anything.
So give me the time to show you or to tell you this is why you would want to pay this for me, and then give you the number. So that's why, yeah, I get that. That's why consultations are very important, because everybody can just throw you their numbers, but why are you choosing this person over that person? It can't just always be like, we have to have a connection of some sort, right? So you want to go with somebody who's going to feel comfortable to you, somebody who's going to feel like they're going to play to your best interests, all that good stuff. So yes, I get what you're saying.
And then also, once you do send people, I guess the amount or your rates, I guess the biggest no-no for me is when people, well, I had such and such said they'll do this same for this amount. That is a big red flag to me. Like, okay, if such and such is going to do it for that amount, or you already talked to such and such and they said that this is the amount, go to them. Just go to them.
We can't get everybody.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me about it. Just go to them. Just say, all right, Corey, we decided to move on and go with someone else. Fine, I respect you, you know, for that. But don't try to go back and forth with me and negotiate my price based on what somebody else told you, what they could do for you.
Right. And the one thing that everybody has to know is that your price is your price for a reason.
Absolutely.
They have no idea how much equipment you put in. I mean, how much money you put into equipment, how much money you put into the place where you edit, the computers, the software, all that stuff. Nobody's taking into account that you still have to continuously keep up all the stuff that you're doing to perform the service for them. Right. They just think that, listen, you bought a $600 camera. And you went and pointed and shoot it.
And I'm just going to bring it to your wedding, and that's it. Like that, I'm going to bring it over here, shoot this real quick. It's going to be ready tomorrow.
Right. And then you want to say to them, nothing I have in here is $600. Okay. Everything is way more
Everything
than that.
is expensive.
Everything
costs.
Everything
costs. And then also, like, your second shooters.
You got to pay them?
You got to pay people to help you.
Yeah, but everybody wants to count your dollars and not try to understand that everything goes somewhere and that it's all for a reason. But again, your price is your price, so let it be that. If you want to go with the cheaper person, totally. But then when you get your stuff back and you're thinking like, oh my God, why does it look like this? You get what you pay for, right?
Right.
So therefore,
absolutely.
Therefore, which is totally up to you. You got to do what's right for you and your family. I always say that. I always leave off with, make sure whoever you choose you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be me. Just be comfortable with it and make sure it's a good choice for you and your family.
And I'll recommend other, videographers, because sometimes people reach out to me and say, hey, if you ever have any shoots or weddings that you can't do or you're too busy for it, just send it to me.
Right.
So I don't mind sending it to somebody else. Like, we're all a team here.
Right. So last thing that I really want to know about is, who are you as a videographer / photographer? Like, what does it look like to have you on the day?
Okay. All right. So the one thing that you're going to get from me is I'm going to be me. I'm going to be authentic.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
I'm going to come in with my shades on, like so.
Right.
I'm going to have my shades on at your wedding the whole time.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy myself at your wedding.
Okay.
So I'm going to be, as they say, turn up. I'm going to turn up with you.
Okay.
I'm going to turn up with the wedding party. I'm going to turn up at the reception. I'm going to be fun with you, so that way I feel like it helps me and it helps the video come alive, because I feel like I get to interact with my clients, and it's just good for a better time. It's like, I like doing weddings. I love doing weddings because of the vibe. And I say that because a wedding is a day that everybody is going to come with good energy.
Right.
Everybody's excited, on both sides. Right. Everybody's there. Some people are just there for the food and drinks, but that's okay too.
Right.
So I just feel like just that positive energy from all those people at once, everybody has to be on the same page. So I think that me providing that same energy with them, it just makes it 10 times better. So I feel like wedding videography is the best thing in the world.
Yes, I love it. I think everybody should. It makes things easier from the time you walk in. You're stressed out. Me being fun loving, you being fun loving. It just helps the vibe. It helps to it helps to make for a great day.
Right.
So, so that's cool. So now, as we wrap this up, this conversation has been great. I think we've talked real plain. I think people have learned some things about video that they probably didn't think about. Right. And again, you do both video and photography, but today we're
just sticking with video because that's what I love to do.
That's what you love to do.
Yeah, photography. I feel like I have to be more into interjecting with the wedding party,
right?
And I like to do video because I don't have to do that.
You just
I'm just capturing the moment. I'm having a good time. I'm walking around. I might be drinking. I might be doing something.
I know that's right.
You never know, but I might just be around having a good time, and I'm capturing everything from a different lens, from a different angle, and I don't have to be directly in front of everybody to do so. So that's why I love to do that way.
Yes. Now, again, he is definitely fun because I've been in some situations with you. So, and I like to have fun myself. I think it's a great thing. It's a party. So we're supposed to be there.
It's a party. So enjoy yourself.
Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to let people know about this process, about the do's and the don'ts before we get out
I would just say, just do your homework when you're looking at a photographer or a videographer. If somebody sends you a recommendation, go to their page, look at their work, go to the Google reviews, look to see if somebody likes them. Like, don't put yourself in a situation like you just, I didn't know. Don't be naive. Look at it. Try to figure out who you're getting yourself involved with.
There you go.
It doesn't necessarily you don't have to book me or you. Just go do that with anybody. Anybody that you decide to look at, do your homework, do some research.
Right. That way you can you own your decision.
Absolutely.
You did what you need to do to make the right decision for you and yourself. And even if it turns out to be the wrong one.
Right. And then at the end of the day, if you book, you knew what you got into, and there's no complaints. You knew that I booked this person because this is the style that they provide.
Right.
So when you book that person, don't think that you're going to get something totally different. You're going to get what they already have done in the past.
Right. So what we're leaving off with is make sure that you do your homework. Make sure you have real expectations and don't sit here and think that,
just be realistic about everything, about your budget, what your wedding is going to look like, what you're going to pay.
All that good stuff.
Just be realistic with yourself.
Right.
And everything will work out.
That's it. Just be realistic. So that's our thing. So today we are going to be realistic. That's what our tip is today. Be realistic. All right. Well, thank you so much for checking out the wedding checklist. Coming out here on the show, I thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
This is a really nice setup. I
you.
really like this. I hope that you guys have me back.
We're gonna have you back because
okay.
we're gonna have some more stuff to talk about because wedding season is coming up, and I know there's a whole bunch of things that are about to happen.
And once we get in the thick of it, it's chaos.
Right. You gonna call me like, Cynthia, I got something I need to come on the show for. I know something right now.
I can do that. Next time I come out, I'll just have like a list of things I just want to get off my chest. Like, you know what? All right. And I'm gonna bring like a whole checklist too. Like, all right, we got that.
The wedding checklist. You bring your checklist.
I'm gonna bring my checklist for the checklist.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's the wedding checklist. We'll check you out later.